It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
I have purple hair now. Everybody get it out of your system. It's new, it's different, and I like it. So let me just live, okay?
This is like co-hosting with Barney.
I love you. I think you love me.
I think.
Cheers. Here's to a new year and maybe reviewing some history.
Ooh.
Oh! Welcome back to
What's the safe word?
I'm Imp.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And today
We are talking about whores of yours.
Not yours.
Your whores.
Not yours.
Hordor.
Hold the door! Hold the door!
Today we are getting a little timey-wimey with our sexy-wexy talk. While the TARDIS might be bigger on the inside,
wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
so it turns out is history when it comes to sex work, and just facts that you didn't know about sex-related things.
What's a TARDIS?
I don't have the time, ironically, to talk about that. Today we are talking about the Whores of Yore. Now when we say Yore, we mean long, long ago. Now the Twitter account Whores of Yore is run by the Kate Lister, an author, a blogger, just an overall sexologist that I actually very much respect. And in sharing that account, I was actually doing a huge deep dive into the history of sex in all sorts of forms, and looks into not only like technologies, but terminologies and histories of sex that I've never heard of. So I figured today we could just talk about it.
There's sex you've never heard of?
Not sex, I mean, I've heard a lot of sex, but like facts around sex and maybe even the terms and verbiage that we use.
Okay.
So join us on this time-traveling history of Pillow Talk while we talk about Pillow Talk with today's sponsor.
Helix Sleep.
But let's just get into the history. Now, the first fact that I want to get into, Daddy, that I bet you didn't know, actually revolves around a term, French kissing. Now, what is French kissing?
Isn't it just deep tongue kissing?
Demonetized. It's thought that the term French kissing came from the soldiers stationed in France in World War I, who saw couples kissing very passionately and assumed it was just a French thing.
Oh, of course. Like lingerie.
Yeah. Thanks, America.
So how'd they kiss before? Just like,
I don't know.
love you.
A drive-by. Mwah. Mwah.
What if you did a French kiss down there?
Oh, okay. Which is just kind of an interesting way to really talk about how terminology becomes a thing. Sometimes it's a slang that just becomes popular. The fact that Americans just created French kissing because they saw passionate love and assumed it was a French thing, that's kind of sad, actually. What does that say about America?
So Americans were not passionate.
I guess not. Oh, no.
Actually, lots of terminology came from France, like ménage à trois.
Okay, what does that mean?
Isn't it like having a menage, but trois?
So 3 Nicki Minaj's?
Yes.
Okay.
3 Nicki Minaj's.
And that's what I find so fascinating about sex history, is how terminology can grow, evolve, and pretty much just get legs and move.
Much like horse.
And Whores of Yore does a really good job of giving you new terms and vocabulary you might not have even known had kind of a sexual backstory. Case in point, one word that really stood out to me, matelotage. Matelotage? Matelotage.
Matelatage.
Matelotage?
Matelotage.
Maybe matelotage. It is referred to as a French for seamanship, and was a same-sex civil union amongst pirates in the 17th and 18th century that allowed men to share their assets after they die.
Wait, so pirates would get married?
Aye, matey.
Do you take this pirate to be your lawfully wedded pirate husband? Aye.
Well, that just brings a whole new term to finding booty.
Oh.
Maybe that's why it's called the poop deck. Now, looking into that actual terminology myself on the internet, there's a whole debate on if like the term matey had to do with like a sexual undertone, or if there was even like queerness to it. And there absolutely was.
Is that where the term mates came from?
Yeah.
You're my good mate?
Yeah.
So it was not gender specific, it was just, you're my mate.
Sure. Well, because there were female pirate captains. They were fewer and farther between because misogyny.
What?
Which actually kind of brings us to our next fact from the history books that I found, and it happened to revolve around Blackbeard.
Blackbeard's a pirate, right?
Yes. In fact, in March of 1718, Blackbeard actually blocked the entire port of Charleston for 1 whole week. And it was thought because he was after medicine for his crew, specifically because they urgently needed medicine for STIs.
Oh, what, did they have medicine for STIs back then?
Apparently they did back in the day. Although, as we're also going to learn today during the history lesson, we didn't always have the right medicine.
Wait, when was penicillin invented?
We got... Hey, talk is not very good.
No, you need to work on that. mate.
I need to work on that,
matey.
I need to work on that. And turns out we also have the pirates to thank for the term buttload,
I'm telling you, butt pirates.
which actually referred to 126 gallons of a thing. So it was a term used to specifically talk about a specific amount of like liquids or items being
So you could have a
shipped.
buttload of beer. You
Yeah.
could have a buttload of wine. You could have a buttload of semen.
Oh, what was that last one? And speaking of turns out there was also a lot of interesting facts and history that goes along with that.
This sounds like a loaded question.
According to Whores of Yore, the ancient Roman authors say that to ease ear pain, they would put the seminal fluid of a hog into the ear canal.
That doesn't sound right.
Maybe this is where the term like getting piggy comes from.
I don't think I heard you right. Can you put some more pig semen in my ears?
Let me just get my pig semen.
Wouldn't that clog their ears and make it worse?
I didn't say we had medical fact behind there, just the fact that they apparently did this.
Could you imagine all these pirates with just pig cum coming out of their
Oh,
ears?
oh god. They were just hogging all the semen. And we are gonna jump around a little bit throughout history because the next seminal fact that I got from Whores of Yore talks about in the early HIV pandemic. It's actually really interesting because back then, scientists weren't even sure what caused the HIV in gay men specifically, and one theory was that semen weakened the male body and repeated exposure overloaded the immune system. An article published back in 1985 said that semen contained antigens, foreign elements which stimulate the production of antibodies. The female body had ways of deactivating like HIV is what they thought.
It was your semen meter.
Male semen apparently caused HIV, or at least according to them back in the day.
I'm glad they figured that out.
And in 160 to 225 AD, Christian polemist Tertullian thought and argued that sperm had a soul, and therefore fellatio, where semen is swallowed, is the act of cannibalism.
Oh my god. Really?
We don't make this shit up. So then they thought that literally sucking someone off was eating people?
Well, you know, the first time I ever ejaculated as a kid, because I grew up in a religious household, I was like, oh no, I just spilled all my babies. No more babies
No more
from
babies.
me.
Darn.
Oh my god, I spilled so many babies.
You're gonna make me spill my drink. And speaking of loads, we have loads of love for today's sponsor.
Helix Sleep.
Now, if you're looking for something to liven up your pillow talk, maybe the bedroom action, or just getting some sexy talk in on top of your sexy mattress, try out Helix Sleep.
I love my mattress because I'm a side sleeper and I sleep with my arm under my head and it dents perfectly for me.
And I like my mattress as well. We both had them for over a year now, and Helix has been a wonderful sponsor from us, so please check out the link down below. But if you're still not convinced, the reason that we love and go with Helix for all of our mattress and bedding needs is because they know that everybody is different, and they have a wonderful sleep quiz that allows you to find the mattress that is perfect for you. You put in some details like your age, your height, your weight, what you prefer.
How you like to have sex? No? How much you bounce on the bed?
Different sleeping positions and firmness preferences, Helix had something that was perfect for me and Daddy in the bedroom. And we got the Dusk Luxe. And since getting our mattresses, I've actually never had sleep that was this good. I had an old mattress that had some springs in it, and because Helix has springs and this lovely like cushioning sensation, they're not only the best mattress for sex, but they're just the best mattress to get a good night's sleep.
And before I got this mattress, I had my other mattress for over 10 years.
Plus, Helix not only ships to you very, what, Daddy?
Quickly.
And when you're ready to really let it inflate, what do, Daddy? ASM, are you ready for comfort? If you've ever bought a mattress, there is that nagging sensation of like, ooh, is this the right mattress for me? I don't know if I like this. So we especially like that they have what, Daddy?
100-night sleep trial.
So over 3 months for free that you get to try it out. And if you don't like it, you can ship it back and you get a free refund. You can even put a Seaman on it.
Or a few.
Seamen, yeah.
Whole menage a trois.
If you got some Navy friends, you
And don't forget, Helix has a 10-year warranty.
Dom's not included, but deals definitely are. Because if you go to Helix Sleep today and use offer code WATT, you get up to $200 off your mattress and 2 free pillows for free. Thank you, Helix Sleep. Now, on to the history. In fact, this next one from Whores of Yore is a TikTok, your favorite. And it talks about sexy futuristic wear, or what we thought futuristic wear would look like back in the day.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Let's watch.
What Eve will look like in AD 2000. It's the sleeves what does it.
Cute.
According to another artist, one dress of the future will consist of transparent net. The net, probably to catch the males.
Catch the males. Because the males need catching. They're not coming after you. You got to catch them.
Gotta love the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Back to the Future when they thought that we'd have, flying cars and skateboards that floated.
Don't we?
Let's go back to this.
Yet another designer goes so far as to believe that skirts will disappear entirely. Shoes will have cantilever.
Wait, like just pants are in.
Shoes will have cantilever heels.
Ooh, pony heels.
Adapt the body to climatic changes. The lightly clad woman of tomorrow. Ooh, swish.
Ooh, swish.
How gay is this announcer?
The future bride in a wedding dress of glass. What the groom will wear, apart from a worried look, isn't mentioned.
Apart from a worried look. Oh my god. Apart from a worried look.
I'm glad misogyny hasn't changed over the years.
And an electric headlight to help her to find an honest man.
And,
Ladies, where's your light bulb?
and how does that work? How does the light bulb prove their honesty? It's like, tell the truth.
I mean, maybe she turns it on when she finds a man she's interested in. I don't
Wouldn't the man be turning
her
it
on
on then?
Oh.
As for him, if he matters at all, there won't be any shaving, collars, ties, or pockets.
As for the men, if he matters at all, is that what
I
you just
kind of want to
said?
see the men look.
I kind of did too.
Ooh, swish. I mean, when I think about the future fashion or even just sexy gear and wear of the future, I can't even imagine what will happen. Like, what floating harnesses with, like, hoverboards or...
Ooh, hover outfits. That would be kind of cool, right?
No, I bet you that we'll have, like, 3D fashions in the future. Like, things that are activated by whatever contact lenses or glasses that we wear. Maybe, like, QR clothing.
Well, we're going to definitely have computer glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Someone in the
Computer
2100s
fingers, probably.
Someone in the 2100s watching this being like, what the fuck are these two gays talking about? And other lovely terminology from Horrors of Yore that we look back at was actually a definition of Twitter. Back in 1598, a person who twittered was someone who censures, reproaches, or upbraids others. So don't tell him anything, he's a twitter.
What's upbraiding?
Back
like a
in
hair
this-
thing?
no.
You-
It's a woman of the future, she wears her hair up, ooh, swish. Which pretty much means it's someone who's a gossip or just says things inappropriate when they get certain information. So pretty much very, very on brand for Twitter.
Just gossip.
Gossip, upbraiding, inappropriate.
Censorship.
This one is fascinating. So, in December of 1999, researchers at the University Hospital of Groningen conducted an experiment where they actually put people in an MRI having sex. And this was the first imagery of that study where they were just able to see how sex worked. Because before that, they had no idea, like, where the penis went, what it did, how it moved. And this is where we see actually penises
It went in
bend.
the hole.
This was the first time we saw and we're actually able to disprove several theories that people thought about sex.
What is that, a puzzle?
Well, you see, you put the long pointy end in the hole and they also didn't know that the penis actually bent almost like a boomerang during sex.
Ow.
It always comes back. And this next lovely fact, speaking of birthing and babies,
Are those bunny rabbits?
Stop. In the 18th century, Mary Toft, this wild woman, convinced the medical world that she gave birth to rabbits. She became famous and a medical marvel until she was busted for sneaking dead rabbits into her room to hide in her vagina.
Why dead? And wait, what? This is worse than gerbling. That sounds like just a big cottontail.
Well, people were jumping to conclusions, but just goes to show that people were just stupid back in the day. And to make it a little kinkier, there was even a fact about the Greeks and their god Patho, who was thought to be the god of consent.
Oh, well that's good. They were teaching consent back then in the days of yore.
Her name meant persuasion, which I don't love, but she symbolizes persuading someone to have sex. She is the goddess of consent and sits upon a column as Aphrodite's persuadus.
But wait, consent can be persuaded?
No. But she's considered the goddess of consent, but consent can never be persuaded, okay? Greece, hey, Greeks, stop it.
But I do love that their god was a woman.
You believe God is a woman.
Goddess, technically, I guess. And did you know, back in 1950, plague doctors were used in a Lysol advertisement where, oh my god, they advertised vaginal douching with Lysol for feminine hygiene.
No, that can't be good.
For a plague-free vagina.
So this is a time when cigarette commercials were done by doctors.
We've learned so much, thankfully, in like medical history as well as sexual history, but the fact that we used to use Lysol as a feminine hygiene product.
We've got people doing horse paste right now.
I know. And then another TikTok from Horrors of Yore actually talked about a bunch of different terminologies that we used to use in place of fellatio. So all of these terms are talking about sucking a dick.
Ooh, I can't wait for this.
Me too. Blow jobs throughout history.
French bath. So they just took French kissing to bathing. I told you, down there.
Munching the truncheon.
Ooh, the truncheon. The truncheon, that's like the police stick, isn't
I
it?
think she was in Matilda.
Zipper sex. Ow! No, do not zipper anything down there. That is not good.
Teeth sometimes?
That's only if you're doing it wrong.
Well, that's true.
Pickle chugging.
Ooh, swish. I get it. I don't like pickles though. For all of our Harry Potter fans.
The Hufflepuff.
No, just the Huffle.
Griffin Huffle.
10 billion points for Griffin Puff!
Whitewash your tonsils. I like
All of
that.
our favorites from the dentist. My favorite was zipper sex. It just sounds fun.
My favorite is just this woman eating a banana the entire time.
But leave your favorite euphemism for fellatio down in the comments below. Next fact. So what Horrors of Yore does a really good job as well is just finding points of history where we point out, you know, double standards, sure, but then also talking about just sex positivity where you don't expect it. For instance, Disney animator Ward Kimball, one of the original artists of Snow White, said that when you're doing cartooning and animating for long periods of time, it can get monotonous and boring. And the animators would create pornographic versions of the film because of it.
Didn't they hide it between slides? Like, wasn't Ariel doing something she shouldn't have been in The Little Mermaid?
There used to be like boobs in the background, like on tops of buildings. There used to be like in The Lion King, the leaves spelled out stuff apparently. Disney animators are kinky and sex positive is all fuck, apparently. Fuck intended. Kimball even went on to say that there were so many drawings that eventually made it out of Disney, unbeknownst to Disney, that there was an actual booklet someone put together that was going around the war about Snow White and the 7 truck drivers.
Oh.
Where Snow White was sitting or seated in a white dress and the dwarves just had giant erections in front of her.
Wait, what? There was Sleepy, Bashful.
Ooh, I bet you Bashful was into like cucking.
There was Grumpy, right?
Yeah, Grumpy.
Doc. That would be the medical one.
He likes medical play.
He likes medical play.
Sleepy. He liked
Sleepy.
somnophilia.
Yeah.
And then Happy probably liked praise kinks, I bet.
Wait, we got them all.
Did we?
Yeah, did we?
I don't know. And apparently Disney was not the only studio that had kinky artists, because Joe Shuster, the co-creator of Superman, said that a few years after he quit DC over a dispute involving Superman rights, actually went on to draw BDSM comics that were so inappropriate they were actually banned by the Supreme Court.
Really?
Yeah, and we get some imagery here that honestly isn't that bad. Like you could actually show that.
Oh my god, I see worse than that on Twitter all the time.
I know, I see worse than that on YouTube all the time.
Thank you, Larry Flint.
Which is actually really interesting. Like the way that history changes and evolves because of sex positive people like that. Like speaking of Larry Flint, like a real life event where we pushed back in the Supreme Court about sex negativity.
And now it's protected under free speech.
So thank you, yes, Larry Flint.
But to be fair, aren't all animators a little kinky?
As someone who went to art school for 4 years, we had so many anatomy classes where we were drawing naked bodies. We had live models that were nude. Like, yeah, art is inherently sexual in some aspects. Like to understand the human body, you have to understand everything about it.
Everything.
Oh God. It's no wonder that we kind of express our sexual interests and our kinks in some ways through the art that we create in that way. I mean, we're doing that right now.
Without the pickle chugging.
Less nudity here, but lots more sex and sex positivity than your normal art class. But even looking at these drawings from the comic artist, like it even looks like Wonder Woman. It does kind of, why does she have a lasso of truth that ties people up? you know? I see you, DC Comics.
That was her net. It's fashion of the future.
Oh, yes.
For catching the men.
Ooh, switch. And some of my favorite facts from the Horrors of Yore actually revolve around medical and doctor-related anecdotes. And something that we still see today, people putting stuff in their butt.
Oh my God, no light bulbs.
But in 1880, Alfred Pullet published a volume of foreign objects found and removed from the human body. The specific chapter here that they're highlighting is objects removed from the rectum, and cites the following objects: pencils,
Ooh,
jars, bottles, pestles,
what's a pestle?
like which a mortar and pestle, forks.
Did you say forks?
Yes.
Who's putting a fork up their ass?
Maybe they wanted to fork themselves. And in one case, 70 snails. Okay, y'all,
No.
if it don't have a flare, don't put it up there.
But think of the snail trail they made.
Also including knitting needles, matchbox, wooden pipes, tree branch, soap, and hazelnut shells. More often than not, patients would say that they tripped and fell on it, and that's how it got in there.
Who trips backwards?
I wish we knew a doctor. I would love to talk to a doctor and like ask them like the weirdest thing they found in butts nowadays. I just think that would be an interesting like episode. Anyone a doctor out there? You ever pulled something out of a butt?
Do you want to be the butt of our jokes? Actually, I once knew someone who fell on 10 toy horses and they had to pull it out, but he's in stable condition.
Actually, speaking of horses, we wouldn't have had the Wild West and Western towns if not for women, and if not for sex. Now, back during the Wild West, when men were out there trying to gallivant and find gold, women realized that there was an economical opportunity in these towns. And when women came in and started, you know, pretty much prostituting, they were able to take that money, in most cases they were making more money than the men, and build parts of cities that turned into towns. They were the reason that Western towns even existed and prospered. Of course, prostitution had its downside, but it was a way in which women revolutionized society.
It's the oldest running profession.
Sex work is work. And then we have Horrors of Yore to thank for a whole catalog of inventions, objects, fashion that revolved around sex and sexuality. This first one is a contraceptive vaginal douche from 1940, used to flush out the semen after sex. And I quote, "It wasn't effective." Yeah, it's like a steampunk douche, and I'm kind of here for it. It looks ergonomic.
It looks cool.
Or how about this one? In 1920s, they invented a pure and germless kiss. So it was thought by scientists back in the day that if you kiss someone, you were going to get sick, that lots of germs were happening, and it's not wrong. I mean, look at
That's
COVID.
true.
It was pretty much like rubbing alcohol on a little screen.
Kissing Lysol.
You just went,
We could use that today. What kind of buzzkill would that be, though, if you pulled out this magnet and put it between you?
Or how about 19th century dentists who decorated their hats with teeth that they pulled out of people's mouths?
No, I thought that was a pile of something.
And while we're on the topic of inventions, how about this urethral douche
Okay.
that used mercury
You're not a thermometer.
for urethral therapy?
That can't be good.
By injecting mercury into the penis or vulva via the urethra. It didn't work, and prolonged exposure to mercury can cause severe damage to the brain and a lot of other things.
Yeah, don't put mercury in your body. And where do you even get mercury?
You don't anymore, but back in the day, it was thought that
could
it would
get
cure
mercury?
everything. Yes, they thought it would cure everything.
God.
Back in the 16th century, it was the primary cure for syphilis. So they thought that it cured STIs.
That's where Blackbeard was getting his medicine.
Hi, matey.
Hi, matey.
Give me that mercury.
Give me the mercury. It'd be very on brand for Queen.
Why?
Freddie Mercury.
Mama, I'm gonna kill this man. And then last but not least, as far as inventions go, how about the Scold's bridle? It was a German invention back in the 1600s that was used and defined as, I'm just reading this off, a rude, clamorous woman would wear these.
I get the teeth, I get the steampunkness, but what's the little ball up here?
As a punishment for women who were considered to be too loud and aggressive. And I guess the little bell kind of helped you just keep track of.
So you wanted them to be quiet, but you wanted them to ring. That seems more annoying, truthfully. I'd pay good money for that.
That looks so dangerous. Again, if you have one of these, let us know.
It's very steampunk.
That is our last fact today from Horrors of Yore and just from history around sex. I mean, did you learn something?
Well, you know, I always liked learning about the days of yore, or otherwise my childhood.
And, you know, whether you're having fun with your mateys or just mating on your Helix mattress, always have a safe word. And today's safe word is aye. I mean, if you're having sex with someone and someone goes, aye,
Aye.
aye, maybe they're into pirate play. But we hope you guys enjoyed this history lesson because, you know, if there's one thing we've learned is history is doomed to repeat itself if you don't learn from it. So
Yes, it
please
is.
don't use mercury or pig semen or Lysol.
In the comments down below, leave any fun historical facts you know.
Leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video and ring that bell if you're wearing one of those old cage things with the ding, 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 ding. And we will see y'all next time. Bye. Oh, one piece of history we didn't show it here, but have you ever heard of Gay Bob?
I know several.
Back in 1977, he was the first gay doll, and he even had a dick.
Oh, I want the first gay doll.
How to enjoy me? Take me to parties. Take me home to meet your folks. Your mom will love me.
When he got to the party, he'd go, swish!
Give me to anyone you know who's come out of the closet. I love marketing back in the day. Oh,
Wow.
you go, Gay Bob.
Yeah, gay Bob. Do you think Ken, like, that's mine?
I'd like to think that Bob and Ken are living very happily.
Yeah,
Okay?
they're running a P&B in Vermont right now.